Hello everyone, welcome back to Assorted Immigrant Stories. My name is Zenith Mangahamamba. Welcome. And before I get started, I would like to remind everyone that I am not an immigration attorney, so whatever I share today should not be considered legal advice. Anytime you're considering applying for any immigration benefits, I always encourage everybody to consult with an immigration attorney. So if you live in the DMV area, for example, I live here, and you'd like a great immigration attorney, DM me and I can send you some information. Okay. So back in April, maybe the beginning of April, I had shared that there were going to be updates to the diversity visa lottery in terms of the changes that were coming. And those changes did take place. However, there haven't been any updates as far as when the DV 2027 cycle will open. And this is important because we're inching closer to October, which is traditionally the month when the diversity visa lottery applications are open. So probably just start preparing for DV 2028. So for those of you interested in the DV lottery, there just isn't much to report on. However, there has been a lot of information in the broader immigration and travel space. Back in season 2, episode 7 to be specific, I did talk about the World Cup, the visa pass, the 39 country ban. I didn't mention the 75 country immigrant visa pause. That's different. I focused more on the 39 country ban because I was trying to explain how different categories of people would come on the different visas, how that would affect a country that had qualified for the World Cup but was on the travel ban. Because a tourist visa is different, a student visa is different. And I have covered F1 and M1 visas back in season 1 as well. Athletes come on a different visas, officials on a different visas, and so forth. I also highlighted a historic milestone, 10 countries from Africa in the World Cup. That's a first thanks to the expansion of 48 teams. So the allocation doubled. So a football fan like me, very excited to see 10 African countries being represented at the World Cup. As a matter of fact, South Africa already played yesterday. They played against Mexico and they lost 2-0. The point of this recording is to sort of go back to that episode that I shared, because now we saw visa rules being played out in real time, and in some cases in a way that perhaps even I wasn't expecting. And one example is the big story that everyone is talking about, Omar Artan from Somalia. CAF Referee of the Year 2025 was supposed to have gone through the process of being vetted in Nairobi, but was still denied entry in Miami. He's not the only one. We have also seen reports regarding members of the Senegalese delegation and from other countries as well. It's not just Senegal. Also, the screening and search procedures that the Senegalese team went through. We saw reports about Iran being told to train in Mexico and only flying into the US on the day of the match, which obviously begs the question whether that's fair play or not. But it's those rules being applied in real time, because largely when I was talking about it, it was theoretical. So a reminder that one might be prepared and do everything and still be denied. And I mentioned this, I always tell people, don't just look at the US. You should look at other countries as well. I've shared this on so many episodes. I always say start where you are, because I never did that. I never did the whole thing of just looking where I was. For me, it was just the US. That's it. But start where you are. If you're on the continent, maybe on a different continent, look across the continent. And if here's where you want to come, that's fine. Have a backup plan. There are many, many other countries you can go to. Many others. We are seeing reports about Omar being invited to Canada and Mexico. I think that's unfolding. I'm not sure what the final word is on that. But there are also reports of him being invited to officiate the Super Cup in Europe. That's big. That's really big. And honestly, if not for the deny in Miami, I'm not sure if we would know who Omar Artan is. I really don't think so. Anyway, good luck to all the 10 African teams playing in the World Cup. Now, before I move on to my next point, I would like to say a quick thank you to my sponsors who make this content possible. Thank you to Fresh 365 by Driven Technologies. If you're in Lusaka and don't have time to go shopping at ShopRite, Fresh 365 can help. Or maybe you're in the diaspora and would like to shop for your family as well. You can use the app. So download Fresh 365 on Google Play and start shopping. I'd also like to say thank you to Yota Rentals. If you're in the DMV area and need a reliable rental vehicle, whether you're visiting family, choosing guests, or simply need transportation, be sure to contact Yota Rentals. They also have homes you can rent, by the way. All right, so now let's get back to our updates. So now let's talk about the 39 country ban, because that's where all this is coming from. So with the 39 country ban, what happened was that those people that were in the US legally and were applying for various things, whether it's a work permit, OPT, asylum, and whatever immigration benefit they were applying for, those got affected by the ban. So if you were from one of those 39 countries and you applied and you're already here legally, it meant that your paperwork was not being processed. Now, a few days ago, a judge ruled that that was unlawful. So what has happened is that now those applications will be processed. It does not guarantee approval. Immigration personnel still have the right to decide yay or nay, but at least the papers will now be processed. It doesn't change the ban for the people outside of the United States. That's still in place. That was more for the people here in the United States. And someone had asked me about the 75 country visa pause. That was more on the immigration visas, immigrant visas. So there's immigrant visas, non-immigrant visas. So immigrant visas, green card, EB3, that kind of thing, those are immigrant visas. But non-immigrant visas, like tourist, student, visitor, those were not affected on the 75 country immigrant visa pause. It just means they're not issuing green cards to those 75 countries for people who are applying outside of the United States. Is there an overlap? Yes. I think there are a few countries that are overlapping, meaning they're on the 75 country immigrant visa pause, and they're also on the 39 country ban, like Nigeria, for example. Finally, there have been reports that visa processing centers will be reduced from 50 locations to 20 locations across Africa. So there is less places to go to. Means you may have to, like for example, in Zambia, it means that you will have to travel out of the country to get your visa. I'm a bit unclear as to when this actually starts. As always, immigration policies can change very quickly. Be sure to verify from government sources, reputable sources, and seek professional help as needed. Thank you for listening, and until the next time, goodbye.